Hi everyone, good afternoon. I think that's everybody in now. I hope you're all well. It's nice to see everyone again here for today's club webinar. So the session today will be delivered by Colin Ely, who's our partnerships manager in the mass participation team. And we'll look at an update of some of the key projects and the opportunities for clubs and leagues to link in with those. Just before I hand over to Colin, just a couple of bits. We will be recording today's session, so if you don't want your video to be on, then please switch that off. As always, we'll circulate the slides afterwards, and the recording will be made available on the Table Tennis England website. Always welcome questions, so if anyone does have anything they'd like to ask or anything they'd like to add, please do pop these in the chat box, and we'll pick those up as we go through. Cool. I think that's everything. Colin, I'll hand over to you.
Thanks, Claire. Afternoon, everybody. Thanks for, I guess, allowing me to update in this webinar. I know you've received a lot of information around resources and support through these webinars, so hopefully this is supporting that in terms of information that you may find useful. Just a bit of a caveat beforehand, it wouldn't be right for me to be on a webinar in lockdown and my daughter not wander in and disturb things. So if that happens, apologies in advance, but if that doesn't happen, then bonus. And also, as I say, that as Claire mentioned, questions throughout, if we populate the chat box and then we'll sort of run through them at the end. There will be some information in here that is kind of part and parcel of our mass participation programs, but not necessarily being utilised right now, as you can appreciate with the current situation. But I will, I do intend to kind of cover some bits of targeted kind of mass participation work that we're doing in reaction to the current situation, which also you may find sort of useful. So it's quite interactive, there's information throughout, but then also quite a few videos just kind of illustrating some of the programs that we've had. Some of them you may have seen before, some of them might be new to you, but again, this information will be shared afterwards as well, so you can that at your leisure. We'll just understand how we go on for time in terms of playing everything, but hopefully we'll be able to squeeze it all in. So just move the slides along. So yeah, as a team, there's a mass participation team within Table Tennis England. There's myself, Colin Ely, Partnerships Manager, the team's headed up by Keely Armit as our Head of Participation, and then we have Julie, who works within our Marketing and Comms, Jade looks after a lot of our insight, and Jack is our Ping Pong Parlour Activator, Programs Activator, mainly working within our Ping Pong Parlours, which the parlours are something that you may already be aware of, and is one of our programs that sits within mass participation. One of the main programs that we drive, and the kind of umbrella term for the programs that we kind of deliver, is Ping. You are likely to be aware of Ping and the kind of ethos around it, but Ping is essentially social table tennis opportunities with a large focus around outdoor play, public tables, and they can be tables in parks and open spaces, town centres, train stations, high footfall places really, but they've also been within smaller community locations as well. But the overarching kind of affinity to Ping is their outdoor tables, and we work with lead partners in the form of local authorities or active partnerships to be able to deliver Ping in a specific place. So whenever we do work with a local authority, we transform, or we attempt to transform, that place into Ping Nottingham or Ping Manchester, and there's an overarching kind of table finder map and a website which kind of details all the different social opportunities. What is perhaps useful with regards to today is that we're constantly looking at extending our network of Ping lead partners and speaking with clubs, and if there's a desire to generate more of a social Ping kind of scene within the specific place that the club's based, we often find that clubs are useful in leveraging that conversation with local authorities or a lead partner, but also really key in supporting infrastructure in terms of volunteers and driving the participation opportunities that may ultimately link back into a club environment. So if there's one thing that we could take away from today, it's certainly that, you know, if there's an interest to drive a social scene and Ping within the place to work there isn't currently any, but there's a club, then we'd like to have a chat with clubs or any local authorities around how we can have that conversation and extend that network. The Ping outdoor tables is being particularly called upon, I guess, in light of the current situation, as we, as a governing body, are strongly advocating the use of outdoor tables, and are not yet at the point where we could promote indoor play or kind of support indoor play. But the outdoor tables have proved to be really successful in use of both club members and non-club members and kind of entry-level participants. And it's through this kind of Ping partnership that we've been able to put these in place in the past. So Ping Lead Partners is a key thing to how we work within a specific place. And at present, we've got probably around 25 Ping Lead Partners in place that are driving social opportunities and entry-level opportunities in their town or city. Here, just a quick video really of an example of where in London we've put some outdoor tables, and we often see tables become sort of colonised, and communities gather around tables and don't necessarily form themselves as a club, but certainly meet on a regular basis when some players can transition into a club environment. But it's very much more ad hoc social opportunity. But I'm about to show you a video where we've put tables into a specific place and regular participants have engaged and become relatively good players in terms of how they play.
I think the correct word is a tribe. From 4 or 5, we become maybe 10 or 20 a day, and it's a place where you can play every time of the day and night as well, because we have light, is indoor, and where you can meet everybody from all over the world who lives in London.
I feel like London is a place where oftentimes communities are very siloed, where it's like there's neighborhoods that are dominated by one ethnic group, or their neighborhoods dominated by a certain class, like wealth class. And I think that what makes this particularly fascinating is that it's so mixed together, and you can just hear the different accents that people have. I find it to be a very interesting place to engage with a very diverse group of people.
They always have their eye out for somebody who they don't know. They're very welcoming. They'll find your level. They'll find somebody to play with. And here it works really, really well.
This is a place for you to relax and be yourself, because you can play different levels, and even if you're a beginner, it doesn't matter, because you can always have some fun here.
There's 2 types of atmosphere. One is the very relaxing one, and people just want to come down after work and just chill. And there's other a bit competitive, which is nice. If you want to aim to improve, you have that competitive side as well.
My goal was to play everybody, no matter how good or how far superior to me they were, and to try and keep that ethos. It's how connections are made. I actually think I'm really quite chuffed by how it's for the most part evolved.
As you get old, you want that sort of active companionship, not just sit down in a pub and talk, but this sort of thing where you play and you talk, which I think for pensioners like me, it's much better than sitting down in a pub or only going to a club.
It keeps me healthy, keeps me alert. But another thing, it develops me as a person, so it's good for my personal development. When I go to university, I speak to a very small subset of people in this whole world, basically. And when I come here, I can speak to so many different people, and that's why I come here.
If you just go to work and come home and go to sleep, this is a machine. So you must find something for your own, like something what you like a hobby, so you do what to do. And then I was looking for a long time to play table tennis, but I never had the opportunity, and I never knew where to go. Now it's part of my life in here, It's an enjoyable place. It's not a place for improvement, it's a place for enjoying.
It's a really interesting, sociological phenomena, how table tennis is able to bring people together from the most, diverse background, people that, for example, I would never hang around with if it was for table tennis.
well, it's that commonality, table tennis. We all love it. We're all table tennis nerds from all walks of life.
So yeah, that was just a short video with regards to where we've put some tables in the past, and we've seen communities gather and get together around those tables. And I guess in terms of a benefit to what you might consider the traditional club structure and clubs and volunteers, is where we generate these kind of pools of activity, and we start to see emerging players, or we start to see the standard sort of elevated slightly higher than what we would consider an entry-level participant to be. So they serve themselves as potential pools and places to maybe recruit from, or to arrange friendly fixtures, or certainly communities and groups of people that would enhance the playing community within a specific town or place. So that was just one example where we've put outdoor tables and seen some real benefits as a result of that. What might be useful now, just to kind of look at, through our pingengland.co.uk website, we have a table finder which will illustrate, similar to the table finder you'll find on the Table Tennis England website, where different outdoor tables are. Throughout this COVID-19 situation, we've done quite a bit of work around promoting the safe use of outdoor tables, and promoted those where and when it's been appropriate locally to advocate on behalf of use of parks. But we've also been able to work with towns and cities that have maybe taken a few more steps ahead than others in terms of being able to install new tables during this tricky period. And we often see more tables spring up around summertime, as you can appreciate, because with them being outdoor, it's a real good opportunity for people to play, and increases that window for opportunity to participate. So just for information, really, we're putting some new tables into the areas you can see currently on the screen, as part of some funding that we work with the lead partner cities on. So we'll be putting quite a number of, 19 tables across the country in total, across the 6 regions you can see at the minute, and working through the respective local authorities, councils, or even in Leicester's case, the district Table Tennis League, to promote those and enhance their usage, really, and ensure that people are aware of those. So it not only adds further opportunity to play for an existing community, but also in terms of where we're at the minute, further opportunity for club players to practice, play, and kind of get their table tennis feel, while at the minute indoor opportunities are extremely limited. So yeah, it was just useful to make you aware of that, and further tables and venues of where all these outdoor tables are on our own sort of Ping website, which you can find via Table Tennis England website, or follow the link below. Another way in which we find that Ping within a place has benefited clubs is where Ping's been able to provide resource and support for engaging kind of a different market, and maybe things like summer leagues. We've got an example here, another video, where we've worked with Oxford League and the local authority there to create a bit of a summer league and a summer opportunity participation league, branded as Ping, I guess, and encompassing a lot of the kind of ethos around Ping and social table tennis. But again, as well as creating a pool of opportunity for people to play, Ping can also work with a place to create additional opportunities, which then sort of strengthen the ability for them to go into a club. So I'm just going to play this one for you as well.
This is the second year that we've run a short format competition. It's called the Ping Oxford All Comers Summer Series, and it runs over 6 weeks. It's a short format competition. You play in a group with people of similar ability, 3 games up to 11. And then at the end of the night, the winner of the group is the one who gets the most points. And then at the end of 6 weeks, people can win trophies for having the most overall points for the whole competition, or being the best player in their category. I think I wanted to get involved personally because I just like the idea of more and more people playing social table tennis. And knowing for myself that it's not just playing in a league isn't the main appeal, it's actually enjoying playing the game. And in order to have a thriving league also, you need quite a good pyramid below it of people who are just coming into it and making the game seem exciting, because there are lots of people at sessions and that kind of thing. So it's really sort of trying to have a go and set something up originally with just social sessions that drew in quite a lot of people who are really keen on playing and become regular players and taking it forward.
Table tennis is the sort of game that anybody can play. You don't have to be world class. Anybody can pick up a bat and play ping pong, and it's healthy. It's better than going down the pub. It's cheaper than going down the pub. It does you good, and yes, you meet people who've got similar interest. What's not to enjoy?
I'm quite good at it, so I just playing it is just really fun. I won my group last time and I've moved up one. I enjoy it much more because I want to play other people to get better.
It was a good way of coming back into something that was competitive, and I didn't have to make any commitments to start with. I would like to play in the league again, so I'm hoping that we'll get a team together, a couple of teams together from the Oxford Community Table Tennis Club. Something regular that I can play in, and then that would be great.
Mainly it seems to be social players. So if we've got half a dozen tables, we'll have one top table, which is players who may be the first division, top of the second division, and maybe one table that's people who've hardly played at all. And in between, it's people who are fairly competitive social players. So we put people in groups of similar ability, and then the competition runs.
2 years ago, I decided to join my local club, and I've just fell in love with it, to be honest. I think it's the game I should have played my whole life. I wish I had done, really.
We raised money from a few grants, and we charge a small amount for people to come and join our events. So in the long run, it doesn't cost anything to put our events on. They pay for themselves. So as long as the events are paying for themselves, why would anybody say no?
And I think some of the things to remember when you're setting up things like this, and one is actually it takes a bit of time to get going, and it probably took a year to build up to having kind of 20, 25 people coming regularly. So I think giving it time is important. And I think having the support of the local committee is important as well. And actually, because they've seen a lot of people coming into table tennis through it, that's encouraged them. And so I'm very grateful to the Oxford League Committee, who have enabled things to happen and have, when I come with crazy ideas, they say, yes, give it a go.
So I guess a point to maybe take from that is the resource and support that mass participation programs and Ping can provide to clubs or leagues that may be looking to extend their offer, widen their offer, or look at, in the Oxford case, a bit of a generator, again, of players, a bit of a pool, which may attract those that have been playing socially, outdoor tables, may have a different, slightly different pull for those sorts of people. So in terms of clubs and the traditional sort of club and league structure, the point, I guess, from that is to say that the Ping and mass participation programs can and does provide some sort of resource to add that additionality. So it's worth kind of knowing that and considering that when planning going forward, should that be of interest. In terms of current reaction and the current situation, then our lead partners have worked with different interventions to take more table tennis to the masses, whereas the indoor leagues, such as what we've just seen, and playing within the traditional settings not been possible. We've tried to, as well as the mass participation program, but also our core development team, have looked at targeted work around distribution of kit, bats and balls to those areas of need, linking that into food banks and mechanisms for supporting people with welfare packages. And some of our lead partners have certainly embraced that as well. So while we've had this situation of COVID-19, it's not kind of rain, stop, play, and we've still been able to engage the masses and keep table tennis alive within that sort of social scene, or those people that may have been considered kind of inactive beforehand. So a large portion of our programs is about inactive engagement and getting more people active into the sport. So we weren't prepared, I guess, to let COVID-19 deter us from doing that. And yes, the participation's been significantly less than what we'd normally see, but our partner network and being able to kind of still bang the drum and get kit and opportunities made available to people at home, and being able to use outdoor space has been really beneficial. So yeah, some examples there of how we've continued with our work. You'll probably be aware that another part of our program, so Ping as an overarching brand, if you like, has then sort of a family of programs underneath that, and outdoor tables being one we've already sort of discussed, and ping pong parlours being another. Ping pong parlours are where we work with a shopping centre. We create a direct relationship with places like Into or other kind of British Land or other kind of shopping centres, and we convert empty shop units into places to play. And a lot of clubs have worked with ping pong parlours, again, to host different evenings or opportunities to generate new players, but also things like activator courses or coaching courses. Ping pong parlours have been deemed to be a useful setting for doing that. Now, as you can appreciate, at present, ping pong parlours are all closed. The shopping centres being closed, and those that maybe are open are only open for essential visits and not necessarily for public to spend a decent amount of time in. A lot of the partners that we work with, if not all of the partners we work with, are yet to open parlours because of the indoor play restrictions. We're sort of following the same lines and guidelines with regards to indoor play at clubs as we would with the parlours. So there will be specific guidance that will be relevant to ping pong parlours in terms of amount of people in there, space allowed to play on, in terms of tables, and guidance that would come along with that. So they are closed because indoor opportunities are closed at the minute. And as and when clubs return back to normal, we anticipate that ping pong parlours will also be following suit and coming shortly after that. We've not heard yet from any shopping centres that they are wanting to open them, nor are we sort of, again, advocating that they should be opening them yet until we know any more with regards to government restrictions and our own kind of insight about when it's safe to return back to play. But again, if you didn't know about them already, they're a really useful opportunity to generate participation. And if you have the benefit of having a ping pong parlour in the town or city that you're based, then it's always useful to kind of link into that with regards to additional usage. I'm going to skip over this one. This was a video of our ping pong parlour in Liverpool, but this video just kind of emphasises the benefit of them, but also the usage that the local club and league have had. I'm going to share a link right at the end of the presentation where we host all these different videos, so you'll be able to access that through that link. Another opportunity that again sits within our kind of umbrella of programs is Ping in the Community, where an existing community group, whether that be a village hall, charity, a Friends of Park group, or anything really that you know, can be considered as a community group, is either looking to introduce table tennis to their existing offer, or maybe provide additional tables to what they already do deliver. These are table tennis packages that we provide in a bid to engage in the masses, I guess. And we use these in the main to look at working with charities to tackle things like social isolation, or meaningful activities for young people, diversionary activities, opportunities we might create with a local community organisation to reduce things like antisocial behaviour. They span from indoor table packages to outdoor permanent or semi-permanent tables, and they generally come with resources to sort of support with play, bats and balls, and different links to resources that you might find online. So this is a way of introducing table tennis to groups that may not really have considered it before, or they certainly see a value in bringing it into what they do. We're funded through Sport England to provide these to existing groups, a heavily subsidised rate, and we tend to say that one package can be up to 2 tables. So we have utilised Ping in the Community programs and packages to support existing clubs or startup clubs if they were looking to add to their stock of tables, and we've also used them for groups that again have not considered table tennis but see it to be valuable to what they're trying to do in their local community. So it helps to build a social scene and create that kind of again pool of players that may then transition over to outdoor tables or into clubs or into leagues or into ping pong parlours for that matter. So Ping in the Community again is another package and a programme that we enable to take ping pong and table tennis to the community and to the masses. The package that they come with are usually include 10 bats, a box of 72 balls, and like I say, a range of different resources. And the packages that are indoor tables tend to start from about £200, and then they go up accordingly depending on the type of table. The indoor package that is £200 for that table is more of an entry-level table. That's certainly not a competitive table, with the depth of the table surface not being quite right. The right size. So we would advocate on sort of the next table up if there's a club looking to add to their stock, which would be the outdoor rollaway, which is competitive standard. But the indoor packages are very much useful for groups that you can see in terms of on the screen, wanting to introduce table tennis or social table tennis into what they are already doing. Here's an example of Ping in a Community, I guess, in use and how it's been used within a group in Bolton.
The catalyst for it starting was for myself as a volunteer on this lovely building, which we're still working on. Something I've always played when I was at work and as a youngster. And I thought, when we get this project finished, I want to play table tennis in here. So we did put something on Bolton Chat, and yes, it took off. And to date, it's been a great success.
I only knew from Facebook. I used to play about 30 odd years ago. I went down to London and stopped playing altogether. And I saw it on Facebook and I thought, oh, that might be a way to have another game. I think it has been very successful, because what we've tried to do is run it on quite an informal basis, so people don't feel that, oh, you know, they can't go on the tables, or they can only go on the tables with certain people. It's £3 donation. That includes tea and biscuits as well. That even includes the refreshments.
Well, I enjoy it because I like all the people. I'm very much people orientated. I love the people. I love the laughs. But also, you know, we're forgetting the important thing for me is exercise. It's exercise and it's keeping you moving, and it's something you can do until you get quite old, I think. I'm not there yet.
Well, for me, actually, I enjoy the game anyway, but I think it's from a social point of view as well. I've met a lot more people in Bolton than I ever knew before in my life.
I certainly would like to go a little bit further with the coaching and do some proper qualifications so I can coach even better. And now we've got three tables that we've bought ourselves that are really great quality. Plus we've got the Ping in the Community table as well.
Yes, and on Thursday mornings when I waken up and I think, what's today? What's today on? Oh yes, I've got table tennis this afternoon.
So yeah, example there of how Ping in the Community's packages and programs have been used. A few suspect serves and a few table touches in there, as you can appreciate. The nature of the session is very much about social. Sorry. On cue, sorry about that, I did say. So yeah, Ping in the Community there, and again that video is available through the sort of link I'll share right at the end. And then the final program that we promote and deliver within the mass participation kind of offer is our workplace offer. Some of you may have seen this and know about this, where we take table tennis and support workplaces to take table tennis into their place of work. Of course, at the minute, very limited in terms of delivery, with a lot of people, if not almost everybody, working from home that may have office space. But again, it's very similar in terms of Ping in the Community, where an organisation, workplace can access table packages to be able to support their colleagues or employees to become more active and play table tennis. So we find one of the main drivers behind this is to create a social atmosphere within a workplace, increase productivity, but also also kind of increase that thing around job satisfaction. What I'm going to play now is just a quick video where last year we celebrated 10 years of Ping, and we're able to showcase different opportunities and projects where Loop at Work and Ping in the Community had embraced the offer. And the next video is going to show you where we've used Loop at Work, and that's then spiraled into a bit more of a social opportunity and a bit of a social scene.
Vision of Battle of the Paddle is a very open, inclusive place for people to come, play some table tennis, socialise, have a good time basically.
So Battle of the Paddle started in 2013. Basically it came out of an idea from the ping tables that sat outside Arnolfini. We just decided one day that there must be more people interested in table tennis in Bristol. So we, after 2 weeks, got Battle of the Paddle off the ground, and it was a remarkable success. We certainly realized that there were people that just loved the game, wanted to come out and actually play table tennis in an environment where you can have a drink, have a laugh, relax, not be in kind of like a tournament environment.
So yeah, again, that opportunity came from Ping, but also a Loop at Work package that then they're taken back into the community and created a social opportunity, a social league setting. And then one final kind of program that sits within the Ping kind of family of programs is our activator training. So whenever we support a community group, workplace, or lead partner with outdoor tables, we accompany it with how that would land and hand the support on the ground to be able to make that happen. So one part of that support is our community champion training, which is a really short online 30-minute training package that anybody can access, that just goes through some key engagement tactics and considerations around different groups, but also basic rules, basic game ideas. So when they're working as a volunteer within a parlour or on an outdoor table, they can activate the community around that and maybe engage more than 4 players as and when sort of we return back to normal. So we always try and promote this as an opportunity for volunteers to become trained and support with that activation when these programs sort of arrive in a place. So that's the community champion training, as well as the resources and as well as the packages that we are supporting communities to sort of drive participation to sort of the masses really. I've got and can send this afterwards a bit of a snapshot of all the different opportunities with some core projects on there as well, and ensure this comes out with the sort of this presentation or is available online, which gives a quick overview of each of our kind of participation programs, which you may find useful in terms of a quick reference point. And it covers, like I say, the Ping in the Community, Loop at Work, outdoor tables, and the ping pong parlour stuff as well. So I'll ensure that this is also circulated with the presentation and the information that comes out to you. And just one final bit, that link I mentioned earlier, we have a partner resource page where all our lead partners that we work with would access to find even more information about Ping programs and participation programs. And that long link at the bottom there is where you can find downloadable resources and information, as well as those videos that I sort of mentioned previously. My contact details right at the top there in terms of if you wanted to get in contact with me for any sort of programs, participation programs, as well as an overarching generic email inbox, which is ping@tabletennisengland.co.uk. So that concludes the information with regards to participation programs, and I'm conscious that we're starting to see quite a few different questions come in. So Claire, shall we do a bit of a run through of what we've got in so far?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Colin. I think it's absolutely prompted some really good chat and conversations within the chat box. So if there's any other questions that people would like to ask, please do feel free to pop them in there. We've had some people recognising players from their club, which is excellent on those outdoor tables. some recognition, I guess, of the benefit of having outdoor tables under cover where possible, in light of the unreliability of British summertime. But one question that we have had come through is about players transitioning from these social opportunities into a club setting, and do we know how many people do that and make that transition?
Yeah, the last time we really sort of dug into this, and obviously the opportunities at the minute are difficult to ascertain that figure, but the last time we looked into this, we produced something around sort of 25 to 30% of players, of people that we'd engaged within the social setting or the participation setting, had made that transition into more of a regular club type environment. But when we consider that, we consider it sort of more of a committed, sustained opportunity. So it may not have been a club, it may have been things like the social leagues or the summer leagues, from initial engagement into further opportunities that we can consider a bit more commitment led. So last time we did that, it was something around 25 to 30% of players.
There's also been a question about the outdoor tables and the publicly available tables, and whether there's any challenges around sort of undesirable behaviours or characters, I guess, gathering around those tables, and how we deal with that. Should mention there is a caveat about the power of sport that's been added in the chat about being able to turn that around and, you know, potentially provide really good opportunities for people to develop personally.
Yeah, absolutely. When we look at installing tables and working with a lead partner, we always try to ascertain from the lead partner where there's going to be a local host or table minder. So if tables are to go into a specific place, we like to ensure that they're not in a necessarily remote situation and kind of vulnerable to antisocial behaviour or incidents of that nature. We also, in terms of the welfare of the tables and general upkeep, we also try to ensure that lead partners and hosts look at installing them where appropriate and using the right measures to make sure that they're in place, not necessarily easy to move or movable at all. But yeah, we have seen partners put tables into places to almost confront what might have been antisocial behaviour in a specific area, diversionary activity, and we've seen some real ownership of some tables. It's not a secret that you're likely to find antisocial behaviour or someone that wants to damage a table in any part of the country. But yeah, we try to alleviate that by ensuring that they go into host places, host venues, which either volunteers will manage or local cafes or parks and open spaces teams would keep a welfare check on and then report any information back to the lead partner or to ourselves. And within on those tables themselves, there's also kind of a get in contact with us to report any damage, which then we could also then ensure that the lead partners are aware of that. So it's one of those challenges that constantly niggles away, but we kind of make every effort to ensure that they go into a place that's going to be supported and utilised in the right way.
Thanks, Colin. Question about the ping pong parlours. Does there always have to be someone supervising in a shopping centre ping pong parlour?
Yeah, no, the nature of them is that they are kind of owned, if you like, and supported by the shopping centre. So when they go into a retail space, they are included in things like welfare checks, cleaning, security checks. So there doesn't have to be anybody inside, which can sometimes be a challenge, but they sort of self-regulate and self-police. If no tables are free, people kind of walk in, maybe turn away, but if they're free, then people jump on. So we have had previous models where they've been high street spaces and not kind of managed as such, where there's been a requirement for some sort of volunteer within there, which is really difficult to kind of pin down because the space can only be open when the volunteer is available. Whereas with the shopping centre model, they're constantly open. The idea is that they're open 7 days a week, all day, and included into existing welfare checks that the facilities management team would do anyway. So that's a really long answer for no.
Thanks, Colin. There's a question around opportunities in leisure centres. I guess recognition that there's potentially an appetite for social play in leisure centres. Are there any social offers that clubs could potentially tap into or use to create something social in leisure centres?
Yeah, actually, we've taken the time during this lockdown period to really scrutinise some of our offers, and we've kind of flirted a little bit with an offer with the leisure centres and leisure providers, where it's mainly just extended to sourcing decent equipment and resources and support for them to be able to promote. But we've actually taken this time to look at what a leisure offer would be, and also what a leisure centre might need or a leisure provider might need in terms of providing social opportunities. And that could be resources around bat and chat, or resources around just kind of turn up and play, or even kind of more targeted work around demographic groups, older age groups. A lot of leisure centres that we've worked with before have kind of 50, 60 plus mornings with a range of different activities. So we've taken the time at the minute to piece together what that offer would look like, and hopefully, as and when the landscape returns to some sort of normal, appreciate leisure centres and providers may have bigger fish to fry in the first instance, but we hope to have something in the form of a social offer and leisure opportunity sort of toward the back end of this year, early next year. So it's on its way, it's being looked at, and to ensure that it's a full and robust offer, we're bringing in all aspects of the organisation, whether that's core development, mass participation, PT Kids, Ping, a host of different programs to ensure that leisure centres get what they kind of all the information that they require.
Great. Thanks very much for that. And a question, a bit of an open call potentially. I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to add to this too much, but a challenge in community centres can often be around storage and where they put tables. Has anyone, I guess, if you've got any experience in the chat box of opportunities to overcome challenges around storage and where you can put tables, please do pop them in there. I'm sure that'll be really helpful, and we can share those afterwards as well. I don't know if you've got anything to add on that point, Colin.
Other than potentially, we've had some community venues, centres source semi-permanent or permanent outdoor tables, which obviously are constantly outside and don't necessarily need to be stored. There's also been the roll-away outdoor tables, which can be used outside, but obviously you wouldn't necessarily want to store them outside. We'd like to work with community centres and partners that can already establish a place to store. So we kind of have a bit of an order form process for community venues to kind of come for a community package, and being able to say to us that they can store it and they've got solutions around storing it is always beneficial, and we like to ascertain that beforehand. There's obviously things like shipping containers and different mobile type units, which can have their own challenges in any way that may be worth considering, but we kind of only really place the packages and the programs where we know that they are going to be stored.
Cool, thank you. I think I can't see any other questions in the chat box. I'm sort of looking at videos to see if anyone's got any other questions that they'd like to ask. But I think that's it. Colin, thank you.
Thanks very much. Yeah, thanks for the time. It's really useful to speak and present that information to clubs and groups and leagues. And yeah, thanks for those that might be in this chat at the minute that we've already kind of showcased via some of our videos. And yeah, apologies for the minor interruption halfway through, but I did say that was going to happen. So true to form.
Nice one. Thanks, Colin. And yeah, absolutely. We'll share the slides afterwards, as well as the document that Colin mentioned about a summary of the projects and programmes for you to refer to. I think most people on the call are signed up already for next week's session, but same time next week will be a session on the new membership categories as well. So that one will be at 12 o'clock on Wednesday next week. But I hope you have a good afternoon, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks all.